All right, it's the Misery Loves Football / Rackham off-season podcast. I'm your host, Chad Zumach. Joining me right now as we speak, we'll have more people popping in. I got the one and only Mr. Mike Jaglin from Los Angeles, California. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous, Chad. I'm doing fabulous. The Jaguars, they call me.
They call you the Jaguar?
Yeah.
They call me the Z-Man. Well, actually, I call myself the Z-Man because I'm a douchebag. And I thought it would be funny to call myself the Z-Man, and that's it's stuck. It's stuck. It works.
Where's your sailor's hat?
My who?
Your sailor's hat.
Oh, the captain hat. Yeah, it's,
the captain hat.
I only wear that on the Misery Loves Company show when I'm steering the ship. On this one, I'm just kind of this was all Kevin Brennan's idea. Misery Loves Football was Kevin's idea because we were in lockdown. We wanted to follow the football season, and everyone got pissed off when we talked sports on Misery Loves Company. So we were like, all right, let's just do Misery Loves Football. We could talk sports there. So this is how
it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And last time I was on, I had a complete blast, and I made Ken a lot of money.
You did.
I made Ken a lot of money.
And Ken he can't join us today because he's busy until 3, and it was a big scheduling mix-up nightmare. But I want to keep doing the show. Like, I want to keep putting it out there. We have fans, we have listeners, so let's keep the party going.
Let's do it.
We were just talking about right before the show, and we talk comedy on this podcast too, because I met Mike at the beginning of my career in LA, and I was talking about how fun it used to be back in the day, and like just hanging out at the Hollywood Improv and getting spots. And I was getting a lot of stuff early on, and then I moved back and it was miserable. And you had some theories to this.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of like in that kind of heyday of the improv, and in the Laugh Factory was always kind of just a Laugh Factory where you went for, your showcases, and you went for, more of an audience. And then the Comedy Store was kind of reinventing itself. When we were there, it was just, the improv was just, it was murder's row.
It was the place to be.
It was the place to be, and it was a place to hang out too.
Yeah,
like we would just go there and drink and hang out. And I mean, I remember being there until 4 o'clock in the morning some mornings, and like it was the place. And you brought up a good point. You and I were talking about, like, when you moved back, it just wasn't the same. And I feel like, one, the Comedy Store took just like a stranglehold on the LA comedy scene, and the improv has just fallen off, big time in regards to its lineups, and they revamped the improv.
It seemed like when they redesigned the bar,
that was it. Yeah. It was like a bad nightclub in 1975. And it really turned people off. It didn't give us that vibe that we belong.
And it got a corporate vibe too. Like, it got really corporate with levity.
Yep. Yeah. And
Mike Jaglin, this is Tony Mazur. Tony Mazur, this is Mike Jaglin.
Tony, how you doing?
How's it going, Mike? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
He's got the captain's hat. Tony's steering the ship.
Go. I like it.
By the way, Chad, I have to bring this up before we get to, because there's some football stuff. I see Josh Allen got a massive contract. Breaking news.
By the way, we're recording just in case.
So this was from 5 years ago. So you're talking about stand-up. So you remember that weekend, that raucous weekend that you and I think there was like 1 or 2 other comics that we were doing over at our home club of the Funny Stop. Do you remember this?
No, refresh my memory.
So I'm gonna read you a post that you put up 5 years ago today. I've been doing stand-up comedy since 2005, and last night was probably the craziest show I've ever had in a comedy club. A drunk girl who wouldn't stop talking and yelling things outmanaged to get 2 tables in the front row arguing with each other during my performance. Why this is going on, more random people in the audience, just while this is going on, more random people in the audience started yelling things out while the same drunk chick is still heckling the 2 tables, still fighting with each other in the front row. It had the chaos and vibe of a Black Lives Matter protest meets monster truck rally. After the show, the drunk heckler poured a drink on comedian Joe Howard in the parking lot after Joe tried to remove the drink from her. Let me also add, this was the 8 o'clock show. My apologies to anyone who was in attendance that didn't get to see stand-up comedy show, but instead just a man alone on stage just doing crowd control for 45 minutes. It baffles me after all these years, people still don't know how to act in stand-up comedy shows. I hope and pray that shows are better tonight. If you plan on being in attendance, give us an hour and a half of your attention. We will deliver a solid show top to bottom. You will leave happier and you will feel better spending your hard-earned money just by behaving like grown adults. I promise. Hashtag comics lives matter.
I posted that?
You posted that. That was you.
I don't even remember that.
Are you a life coach and we don't even know it?
I have no idea.
And this is during your sober days too.
That's crazy. I have no clue.
Well, yeah, he realized the chaos that was ensuing and called it out for him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you were, because I remember after the show, you yelled at Pete because, well, obviously we have no bouncers. The bouncers are basically Pete's kids and Pete.
Yeah.
And I remember after the show, you kicked it. Well, because I went on stage because I was featuring that weekend. And I think Joe Howard was doing a guest set. And you so I go on stage and, you know, you do the whole like greeting the audience or whatever. And like some girl just says like strawberry shortcake. I'm like, oh, Jesus, it's going to be this show, isn't it? And it was, and it never got better. I remember you kicking in the door and you're like, God fucking damn it, Pete. And then Pete's wife had to wonder if you were even going to come back for the second show.
I vaguely remember now. I'm starting to think because I remember losing my temper. I do remember that. But going back,
that was I think a Friday show too, I believe.
Yeah. But going back to what Mike, we were talking about the LA comedy scene, how it changed so much. We'll get into sports very soon. But I remember one time at the Hollywood Improv back in the day, this was, I vividly remember this. I have this memory because I was sitting on the stairs. You know, the stairs that you walk in?
Yep.
I was sitting there with Daniel Tosh talking to Bert Kreischer. This was like 2007. Over to our right was like Nick Swartzen. Like I think Adam Sandler was at the bar and a couple people. Over in the left-hand corner was Sarah Silverman, Zach Galifianakis, Doug Benson. And over in this corner was like Dane Cook, Jay Davis. I was like a high school of popular kids in comedy. It was so weird, but that's how awesome it was back in the day.
Yeah, and it all changed in the mid-2000s. And I think once Adam took control of the Comedy Store too, I think that really switched everything. It's a shame. I mean, I went back a couple years ago and we were like, where's Eddie? Where's Dave? Where, you know, it's kind of sad because you spend so much time in a place. I mean, I think of my 20s and early 30s. There was no bar or club that I spent more time in than the Hollywood Improv. And I worked at the Comedy Store with Pauly Shore for years.
Yeah, but I spent the night. That's how we have those after hours. I remember me and Nick Swartzen slept behind the stage. We were so hammered.
I believe it. I mean, I one of my last recollections of a late night, and this was probably like early 2010s, was like Craig Robinson was there playing piano until 4 o'clock in the morning. Owen Benjamin before he went off the rails. Tiffany Haddish like twerking. You know, Swartzen, Pompa. You know, it was a thing of beauty back then. But you know
what's funny? Wherever you saw Nick Swartzen, Gene Pompa was right there too.
Yeah, and Chuck Martin. I mean,
yeah, Chuck. Yeah.
So I mean, it was just such a great time and a great place, and it stinks because you really wonder if comedy clubs are ever going to get back to where that was. And I feel like, not to play like the I'm getting old card because I'm 41, but the younger crowd, I don't think they understand what the camaraderie of comedy is and what those clubs mean, not just to kind of hone your craft, but to be able to hang out, create those relationships.
And it was fun. It was fun.
It is fun.
It was
fun. And well, it was, but you know, Tony, you'll agree with this. Like, that's one of the greatest things about being a comic and being at comedy clubs. I'm not a stand-up comic. I'm a producer, but you know, you can't. Those are moments that you can never take away and you learn from as a comic. You learn going and seeing, Zach Galifianakis on stage do bits. You learn from all these random pop-ins. You learn from just watching and seeing. And I feel like the younger generation doesn't have that to their disposal, or they're not utilizing that enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's something
because you guys would, so-and-so pops in, so-and-so does a set. You're going to watch it. You're going to see what's going on. You don't, a lot of them probably just watch YouTube clips.
I've been around for some crazy moments, and I know you have too. Like, I remember when Chappelle made his first stop at the Improv when he quit the Chappelle show and went to Africa. I remember because it was Steve Hostetter's show, and Tosh wouldn't get off stage because everyone was like freaking out, like, Chappelle's here. And to this day, I've never heard an ovation as loud as that. And I was there. I was sitting there.
Oh, I ran a show at the Knitting Factory for years.
I remember that. I did it once.
You did it once. Yeah. And I based it off the original room at the Comedy Store because
you always had Owen there. Owen was always there.
Oh, he was our MC. Yeah. And then it would be like Brody, Tripoli got a bottle thrown at him one night. I mean, everyone from Craig Robinson to Whitney Cummings, Andy Samberg does it. The next day he gets offered SNL, not because of Mark Room, but because he's Andy Samberg. I mean, the who's who. I would not allow Dane Cook on stage because Gary Goldman was on stage, was going to go up. I'm like, no, Gary's next. Gary is next. Dane, you have to wait.
I need to go up now. Put me up now.
Yes, now. I have to go. I have to make hand gestures for 45 minutes. But yeah, I mean, who knows where comedy's headed? I mean, hopefully in a positive direction.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Tony, let's switch gears here because we're a football podcast. You were at the Hall of Fame game yesterday, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was a riveting affair between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys.
Ken Mosca's Dallas Cowboys went down
16-3. Yeah, Dallas scores a field goal, I think, on the first drive, and then Pittsburgh scored 16 unanswered points and won the game at the Hall of Fame game at Tom Benson Stadium in Canton, Ohio. And yeah, I was there, so you didn't have to be.
Did Dak play?
No. Roethlisberger didn't play. Dak didn't play. Yeah, there really wasn't many starters for Dallas playing. I know Pittsburgh had Mason Rudolph was their starter, and he was there, I think, 2 possessions. And then Dwayne Haskins played the second and third quarters, and I think they put Dobbs in for the fourth quarter. But they did have Najee Harris from who ran over everybody from Notre Dame.
How did he look?
Honestly, he looked pretty good out there. I kind of liked what he had. I forget the other their backup, who's more of the speedster, but he doesn't have the power that Harris has. But it really was. Here's what I'll say, because we always talk about the COVID and the masks and restrictions. It was nice being in a full stadium yesterday. I gotta say, it was nice being out there and seeing people that were tailgating. They were having fun. It was mostly Steeler fans because it's only like an hour and a half drive. To Kansas.
We got a surprise guest, guys.
Kevin Brennan.
You know him from his hit podcast, Misery Loves Company. We'll see if this works. There he is.
Yes.
He's in a vehicle.
Brennan.
He's in a vehicle.
Holy shit.
Can he hear us?
Can you hear us, Kevin?
Yes.
Look at you driving.
Where are you going? You going to Brigada?
Who's this?
This is Mike Jaglin and Tony Mazur.
Mike Jaglin.
Yeah, we had him on before. You remember?
I came on. I made Ken a lot of money.
From Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. I thought Lenny's printer was going to be on.
He was supposed to, but something came up. So yeah, so Lenny's printer couldn't make it. He'll be on next week.
Mike Jaglin, he played for the Browns?
No. I played for the Eagles.
He's a big Eagles fan, but he's from you're from Philadelphia originally, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah, we caddy cast. Remember? We want to start a caddy cast.
Right. Okay, I got confused with the Eagles. No, because I think Ray DeVito sent me a picture of you or something. I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, let me just say I gotta go to the bathroom. But let me just say this about this fucking. Can I curse on this podcast?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Let me just say, where's Tony? Let me just say, who the fuck's that?
It's Tony Mazur and Mike Jaglin.
I got my captain's hat today.
He's steering the ship.
This Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he would rather surround himself with plexiglass than get the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, he'll do anything to get on the field on Sunday except get vaccinated. So that's what I call top-notch leadership. That's what you want from your quarterback. I love to see Tom Brady come out and go, "Hey man, everyone's gonna have to keep a distance from me because I'm a winner." That's what winners do. Winners are afraid to get vaccinated, like Chad. I'm a winner. The guy's a fuck. First of all, if the guy was great, that'd be one thing, but he's a fucking joke in the playoffs. Anywho, no one ever bets on him, right, Mike?
No one ever bets on Cousins.
You don't bet on Cousins in the playoffs. He had a meaningless regular season game, yeah, but not in the playoffs. And how do you think everybody on his team's gonna feel knowing that this guy's a fucking clown?
I mean, he's been a clown for quite some time. I mean,
yeah, but now he's Exhibit A. Now he's all over the news because he's a fucking clown. It's one thing to be a clown, nothing to be a fucking Mike Irvin. What's that guy's? The guy from the Cowboys when he got busted with prostitutes and he was wearing a fucking full-length fucking fur coat. Michael Irvin.
Oh, Michael Irvin. Yeah. Well, at least he did it in style.
Yeah, at least he won once in a while. But this Kirk Cousins, I mean, just shut your fucking mouth. Really? That's your take, is that you're going to surround yourself with plexiglass on the field? His coach must be like, can we get rid of this guy?
The amount of money this guy's making too.
I'll take an injured Carson Wentz over this Kirk Cousins.
Oh no, and I would not take Carson Wentz over a kid in Pop Warner. But no, Kirk Cousins is making millions of dollars. You're supposed to be a leader.
So he ain't gonna win. He ain't gonna. These players, I mean, they're all clowns anyway. Black people are not getting vaccinated, so that's another problem, probably for the NFL. But these guys, they're not. He's done. He's done in the fucking league. He is. I mean, even if Tom Brady didn't get vaccinated, even if Drew Brees didn't get vaccinated, they would make some fucking speech about how they'll do anything to win except get vaccinated.
I wonder if they can get out of that contract now. Like if he's not going, I mean, I know that you don't have to get vaccinated, but I mean, if you're doing something like that and putting people at harm.
I read on Twitter, I don't know if this is valid, but somebody said their son works at Lowe's.
I saw that.
Yeah, so if you get COVID while you work at Lowe's, you get sick pay if you're vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, you're immediately terminated. Thank you, Lowe's. You're my new sponsor.
Screw you, Home Depot.
Chad, I didn't go after you on Wednesday because out of respect for whatever. But what do you think? You think you're being brave? You're being a bitch because you're extending the COVID. You're extending the COVID.
Well,
everybody who's not getting vaccinated is extending the COVID. So good on Lowe's. I'll be shopping at them soon, pronto. But these fucking clowns, they think they're Kirk Cousins is really. I went to his Twitter. He's like, he says he's religious. Is that why Jesus told you not to? You fucking clown.
That's why I'm not, because of the Lord. He told me not to.
Well, don't bitch say you got to wear a mask still, Chad, because you're
I never bitch. I don't like the mask. They're stupid.
Who likes the mask?
Well, Fauci came out originally and said, "Listen, it doesn't do anything." Now it does. Like,
come on, grow up.
Do your homework.
Grow up, Kirk Cousins.
Dude, I'm not a quarterback of an NFL football team.
I can't even. I literally.
You can die playing football, but the COVID restriction. You can actually die playing football. Die from that game. And
guys, when they retire, they blow their brains out.
Yes, who gives a fuck about COVID if they do that?
No, I'm saying like football is so dangerous, so they're not get vaccinated. It's like, dude, you're a retard. Sorry.
When did you become a social justice warrior? I'm curious.
No, Kevin brings, you bring up a great point, because like my cousin played NFL football for over 17 years.
Kirk Cousins?
No, not Kirk Cousins. That's freaking Kurt Ant Cousins. But he suffers from giant painkiller addiction. I mean, the amount that these guys go through. I mean, Brennan nailed it. It's insane. You can die easily, and now that you have this idiot saying that he's going to play with plexiglass and not get vaccinated, get rid of him.
His coach must be like, I mean, the coach was already bitching, but his coach must now like literally just sob himself to sleep, because if I was the coach, I would just go, listen, man, you're not playing this year. I would tell Kirk Cousins, I would go, after his press conference, I don't care what happened, I would have said, Kirk Cousins is not going to be playing for my team this year. There's got to be a quarterback as good as Kirk Cousins available.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that like Kirk Cousins is Johnny Unitas or fucking Joe Montana or the aforementioned Tom Brady. Just get somebody out of college. Get a good college quarterback. Get him in there. You're not going to win anyway. You're not going to win. Half your guys are not even vaccinated. So what? You're not going to win anyway. So tell Kirk Cousins to take a fucking seat, bitch. And and put him in the penalty box. Don't they have plexiglass surrounding the penalty box? Bitch.
Rackham.
Rackham's right.
Mike, sorry, I forgot who you were. You should have just said the caddy guy.
The caddy guy. Yeah. I was so excited.
I was driving. I had to punch in my sister's address on my Google thing. I'm driving and I'm like punching and I'm like, I'm gonna hit somebody and then I'll look like a douche. I'll look like a Kirk Cousins. No, I had to get the right address and I ran over some lady in the street. That's another thing people don't do. Don't text while you drive.
I didn't realize you were so like about safety. This is a new side of Kevin.
I wonder if Kirk Cousins texts and drives, because that's way more dangerous than a fucking vaccination.
Yep.
Kevin, what's your take on Tony drinking in the middle of the afternoon? Is that
Tony
not cool?
Who?
Tony Mazur, the captain steering the ship.
First of all, it's the summer solstice. It's the height of the summer. So why not drink on a Friday? I'd be drinking too if I just got married like Tony. Tony, what the fuck are you doing getting married?
I want to have children. I want to procreate in this crazy world.
So Tony, I have 19-month-old twins. Okay.
Yeah, go over to his house. See what a blast it is.
Yeah.
I want to have children. So you want the NBA, the NFL? You can have children and not be married. What are you, a clown?
Well,
I want to have children. You can have one of mine. Hey now.
Hey, yeah, Kevin was upset when he heard you got married. He was pissed off about that.
I got married last year. We just did it again.
Yeah, boy, how about ask somebody? How about run it by a professional? I'm a professional married guy, and I have to ask you some basic questions.
Yeah, Kevin.
I remember Bobby Kelly when he was getting married, or when he was thinking about getting married. He goes, you got to know the person you're married for about at least 12 years. You know what, dude? Do you, Bobby? I met my wife. I'm like, yeah, we're getting married. The night I met her, I'm like, yeah, we're getting married. Bobby's like, you got to know her 12 years. Okay, thanks, Bobby.
How do you come up with 12 years? How do you come up with 12 years? I don't know, because
that's how long you knew her before. That's how long you knew her before he got married. My point is the exact opposite. If you got to talk yourself into it, don't get married. If there's any doubt, don't get married.
She's a good girl. She loves watching In Hot Water.
All right, well, that's something.
Yeah.
Moves the ball downfield a little bit.
That moves the ball downfield.
Everyone here is married except for me. Everyone in these boxes is married except for me.
Yes. Is it now? Does that?
Chad, you should start some. I think Chad should start some unvaccinated website and meet some bitches there, because you guys are edgy.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Is there unvaccinated Bumble?
Yeah,
because Chad Chad, in the future, that's going to be the question. Did you get vaccinated? If you tell somebody you didn't, it's like telling somebody you voted for Trump. If you say you didn't get vaccinated, a lot of women are going to be like, you're a fucking idiot. So you should try. It's like smoking. You should meet. So that's why smokers have such an advantage. They all got to smoke outside. They get to all meet each other right there. So you're going to do that with vaccination, because a lot of women are going to be like, you're a fucking clown if you tell me you didn't get vaccinated.
I'm getting a fake card.
You should ask them first.
I'm going to get a fake card. So Godfrey's going to hook me up with a fake card. So I'll be good.
So are you vaccinated, Chad?
No.
Do you go up to women and say, do you want my unvax axe?
Yeah. That's my pickup line, actually.
Yeah, it's a good line.
Chad, what's more dangerous, going outside without a mask and not being vaccinated, or having sex without condoms?
I do both.
Ooh.
I'm setting you up for a bit, Chad.
I do both, and I'm fine. Nothing's happening.
Yeah, you don't know what's happening, and
quit watching the news. Quit watching CNN.
Florida's the hottest of the hot spots.
Yeah, there's still more.
I don't have to watch the news.
There's more deaths in Jersey and New York than there is Florida. Florida's 13th on the list.
If it's in the New York Post, then it's against Florida, then it's real news.
33% of the population's old down here, and we're 13th in deaths. They're just picking on Florida.
All right, I gotta go. Thanks. It's good to see you guys. Good luck with your marriage.
God bless.
They're gonna pick on your hurricanes in about a month too.
Yeah, I know.
God bless. Let's all say a prayer that Chad gets COVID.
Yeah,
I want it. So I'll
Hurricane
get it.
Zumach.
I'll get it and I'll overcome it. It'll be great.
No. I want you to be one of those guys in the hospital. Be like, everybody get vaccinated. Godfrey, fuck you for giving me a fake card. Get vaccinated, everybody, while you can.
This is Chad
Zumach. And then you'll be given where you're going to be available.
Not one person in my life has been on a ventilator or died that got COVID.
You're going to be doing, Chad, you'll be in your deathbed giving plugs. I'll be open for Rich Voss at the something theater, August 24th and 25th.
Vista Theater next week. That's August 18th through the 21st. Yes, thank you.
All right, you guys, I got to go get my kids. I got to drive them back home.
Okay, put your mask on. God bless.
All right, Mike. Good to see you again.
All right, Caddy Cast. We got to do it.
Yeah, we got to. Once the summer's over, we definitely
Dude,
do that.
I've got degenerates lining up.
All right, let's do it. We can't do it every week, but I'll definitely do it once a month.
No, I've got a great guy that caddies in Florida, probably knows Chad.
Is he vaccinated?
Caddies in Nantucket. Yeah, he needs to be. They need to be vaccinated.
How about that fucking stupid golfer, DeChambeau or whatever the fuck his name is? He said he didn't want to take the vaccine from somebody else. We got extra, stupid.
Yeah.
That's why you can't. These athletes, like, people put them on a pedestal. They're mentally retarded.
No, it's stupid. It's stupid. You're making millions of dollars.
Like, I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it from somebody else. You won't be stupid.
No, it's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, Mike, let's definitely do it. I'll talk to you. We'll talk about it. All right. Okay. Sign up for the Patreon, you cheap fucks.
Yeah, cheap. Don't be a cheap fuck. Sign up. God bless. Oh, that was a great cameo. Look at that little Kevin Brennan action for you, everybody.
All right.
Look at, we're all back to normal.
I'm still here. Don't say anything bad.
Okay. Yeah, we'll refrain from saying what I wanted to say.
I get all my news from Gino Bisconti's Facebook feed.
That's all you need.
What is news anyways anymore?
Speaking of breaking news, Josh Allen agrees to a 6-year extension worth $258 million with the Buffalo Bills.
And he gets Niagara Falls, correct?
Yeah, I think Niagara Falls. Is there something going on that they might move to Austin, or they're threatening to move to Austin?
They're
is that
threatening? Yeah, that is a rumor. I mean, Josh Allen, I guess you do it. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year for the Bills. I mean, I honestly feel like the Bills and the Browns are those two teams that, outside of the Chiefs, and I guess you can say the Ravens, are could shock. I mean, the Bills were there last year. I like your Browns actually a lot this year.
You do?
Yeah. I do.
I don't know. The Titans actually scare me a lot too. I mean, they got Julio. Granted, Julio Jones is in his 11th season, but that's still a nice deep threat to pair on the other side for Tannehill, because Tannehill had a nice year. So the AFC is just loaded right now. Of course, the year that the Browns are like, oh, they're possible Super Bowl contenders, they have to deal with a pretty loaded conference at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you Baltimore is going to have a solid season. Pittsburgh, you don't know what you're going to get. Pittsburgh, I mean, who knows? And then who else do you have in that conference? Who am I missing?
Well, I mean, you got the Raiders. The Raiders may not be too bad this year.
Oh, the Raiders are going to be garbage. They're going to be hot, steamy garbage.
Chargers are on their way up, I think.
The Chargers are fun. But that division, that's probably out of all the divisions in the AFC, that is probably the weakest.
Outside of Kansas City, of course.
Yeah, because Kansas City is such a juggernaut. It's just such a drop off.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, well, with the Bills, for example, that's a team that, you know, every so often you get some of those organizations that they have that one and done season. Are the Bills one of those teams that are sustainable down the road, or was last year kind of, or at least the last couple of years?
2 years, yeah.
And I think the Bills are a well put together franchise, and I think that's what the Browns. That was the situation with the Browns that in 2002, when the last time they made the playoffs before this past year, they kind of put their eggs in that basket, and they were a pretty good. They weren't a great team, but they were a pretty good 9-7 team. And you're facing in a tough division. I think that was the first time that they split into 4 divisions in the conference instead of 3, but it wasn't sustainable. And I think the Browns have an opportunity to make another jump this year because of just stability and what they have. But yeah, no, it's a tough conference, and when you have all this talk now, so. Josh Allen gets this extension. Then who's up next? It's Lamar Jackson and it's Baker Mayfield are the next two that are going to be in talks. Now, I think they'll probably stick around.
Well, Lamar didn't Lamar get his bag? He didn't get his bag yet?
No, not yet. No,
okay.
I think he's the next one, I believe. And then Baker's right there. So those two are possible distractions that you could have going into this season where it's just, what are they going to do? If you ask me today that we're recording this on August 6th, I think both of them will re-sign and it's going to be no problem.
Well, and it's an interesting thing because, you know, being an Eagles fan, we were in this position with Carson Wentz and we should have played the long game like the Cowboys played with Dak. And especially with Carson coming off those injuries. I mean, with Baker, it's like, do you play the long game with this season and see what happens? I mean, is that a risk you're willing to take, or do you just give him the bag?
I still think Baker, in my opinion, he still has to prove himself.
So you play out the season.
Yeah.
So you play out the season, and you can always franchise these guys. That's the beauty of the NFL, is being able to franchise these
like
guys.
Phil Dawson.
Like Phil Dawson.
We franchised them.
Well, you know what? That's the thing about with Baker is he's not Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have the talent that Aaron Rodgers has. He doesn't have the talent that Patrick Mahomes has. But he does have a good arm. He does stay healthy. He can pass in the pocket, but he's better on the run. You know, he has a lot of tools. The thing is that you're starting to look at is that the team has improved to the point where this is probably Jarvis Landry's last year with the team. That he's had injuries now. He's starting to pile them up a little bit. He's now, I think, going into his 9th season right now. It's 8th or 9th at that point. And it's not getting any better if you're a receiver who takes a lot of hits and had that many catches. So it's, you know, I think the Browns do have that stability, but I think Baker, if they can continue building that offense, and they finally found a quarterback's coach and an offense that is built around his strengths. That's the problem, is that in the league is that a lot of these teams end up hiring and firing these assistant coaches and these offensive coordinators. And these guys learn an offense, then 15, 16 games in, then they have to learn a new offense because the coach got fired. And that was Baker's problem in the first 3 years, that it took him a little bit to try to learn a new offense.
Yeah, he had 3 different coaches, right?
Yeah, 3 different coaches in 3 years. Actually, technically 4 coaches.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is I think the first season where he's going into the new season with the same coach, and they're also coming off their first playoff win in how many years?
Since '94.
Jesus Christ, yeah, and we beat the Steelers, so it's definitely something to build upon. And I'm excited for the Browns this season. I'm excited for the whole season. In fact, I'm thinking I got to talk to Ken on this. I want to do like some sort of like not like a fantasy football, but just something competitive with the fans and with the regulars like you guys. I don't know what that could be.
I don't know. Mike, what I want to get your thoughts, because we talked to Ken and we talked to Dave Weinberg a couple of weeks ago. What are your thoughts on the NFC East? That's a division that just continues. Why does it seem like there's gale force winds out here? But the NFC East is it's always in dysfunction right now.
Yeah, and it has been for quite some time. I feel like it's literally like if you had to rate like men or women, you would rate the NFC East a 5, and a 5 probably wins the division. I do have a weird feeling the Giants are going to be better this season. Washington will be solid, not great.
The Washington football team?
Yeah.
By the way, the Native Americans are applauding that they're banning headdresses and face paint.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
But
more distractions.
And then I still think on paper the Cowboys are the team to beat, but again, they have an awful defense. And my Eagles, I think we're going to be drastically better on defense. And I do think that Jalen Hurts will be a solid quarterback. Devontae Smith is a great addition, even though he's out right now with a sprained MCL for a couple weeks. And we have actually a pretty deep backfield with Sanders and Boston Scott and Kerryon Johnson, and then this kid from Memphis that we drafted. But receiver-wise, outside of Smith, it's a mess. And then you have Ertz and Goddard. I don't know what to expect at all from that division. I mean, I could see, the Cowboys going 13-3. I could see them going, 5-11. I could see the Eagles going, 4-13. I could see them going, 10-7. It's going to be a real crapshoot from week to week to see what you're going to get from that division.
Cowboys are always a team that they're like one injury away from going 3-13. Just every year, it just seems like that a lot of those teams, even the Giants are one of those where if you get one injury, the team is done. Whereas there are certain other, like, for example, the Steelers, I can't even remember the last time that they were terrible. Like, they've been mediocre, but they haven't been terrible. And, Roethlisberger hasn't always been healthy. There have been times they've put Charlie Batch out there, a quarterback, and they've had a slew of other
Tommy
guys.
Maddox, remember before? Yep.
Plus, Roethlisberger's about to be 38 years old, too.
He's in his 18th season.
That's a lot of miles on that dude.
So, but they, for whatever reason, they're never terrible. Like, you're never seeing like, well, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock for the first pick in the draft. But then there are other teams where they get that injury to a quarterback or their big, pile driving running back gets injured, then the season's done. So, and it just seems like those NFC East teams are always one of those where if Eli Manning went down, forget about it.
I take that back. He's 39 years old.
Yeah, he was born on March 2nd. We share a birthday.
March 2nd, 1982.
Me and Desi Arnaz.
This is for all the Lucy fans that listen to this podcast.
That's right. But yeah, no, that's there's a lot of there's a lot of interesting storylines. It's just I don't see a lot of them coming out of the NFC. It just the NFC. It seemed to me that Tampa, though they're good. Obviously, there's going to be a spotlight. Obviously,
Tampa.
But I mean, I look at the NFC and I'm not blown away by a lot of the talent that's on that side of the conference.
No, I New Orleans takes a step back. You have, I think Tampa is the team to beat. I mean, Green Bay will be back, in the driver's seat in that division now with Rodgers there. you look at, honestly, the Murderers Row is the NFC West.
Yeah.
Because that is by far the most difficult division in football, because you're talking the Rams at Stafford, you've got the Seahawks, are always the Seahawks.
By the way, you see this right here? Can you see it? I live 9 minutes, 2.9 miles away from Raymond James Stadium, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play.
Ray J.
So yeah, and I live 3.1 miles from Tom Brady.
But
I just want to show off.
Well, you should show off.
I live near where Jeffrey Dahmer grew up, and LeBron.
That's true. No, you literally live like a half mile from LeBron's house in Akron, right?
Yeah, I can almost see LeBron's house from where I'm at. But not that I have I'm living in an apartment where they're doing construction in the back. And yeah, I live a mile away from Jeffrey Dahmer's childhood home, but I'm not bragging or naming.
Mike, would you like to brag about your home?
Well, I mean, I do live down the street from where the borderline shooting was, so
that's kind of cool.
So,
what part of LA do you live at? I forgot.
I'm in Thousand Oaks. I got
it. The Valley.
No, we're past the Valley. I'm in Ventura County, baby.
Ooh, look
I'm
at
Ventura
you.
County. Yeah.
Wow. Are you about by Calabasas, where Kobe's helicopter went down?
Yeah, it's like about 10 minutes away.
Yeah. I used to go out that way a lot.
It's a great area.
It's fantastic.
A lot of room. Not typical LA.
I worked out at that Equinox out there, and I saw Britney Spears once. It was kind of weird.
She lives in Thousand Oaks.
Oh, that's probably why I saw her there.
Yep, she lives in Thousand Oaks.
Sorry to interrupt with name dropping.
But getting back to the NFC West, are the Cardinals going to take a jump? I mean, they get J.J. Watt. I guess Chandler Jones isn't happy. And then the Niners. Did the Niners bounce back? That to me that's the division in the NFC that I think will take all your wild cards.
I think so too, and especially when you have Garoppolo who's in a contract situation and they draft a quarterback behind him, but they're going to let him kind of marinate. So it's not one of those where it's like in Chicago where Justin Fields basically has the job immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to let their backup kind of just test the waters at that point with Garoppolo in a contract year. So it's a win-win for John Lynch, where you're either going to get a great year from Garoppolo or he's not as effective. You put your backup in and it kind of changes the offense a little bit. The Rams with Stafford and I don't know. I think, I think the days of the Sean McVay might be starting to wane a little bit of the, hey, let's get the young, hip, bleach blonde hair head coach. But I don't know. It's I just don't see the storylines in the NFC as interesting because, with like you said about New Orleans taking a step back, is Taysom Hill, is what's his name from Jameis Winston. I mean, are they going to be the saviors? Are they going to do what Drew Brees did for the last decade and a half? I mean, I don't think so. I think
no.
I'm not going to say they're going to be back to the Ants again, the Chuck Muncie years and the Archie Manning years, but I just think all the good storylines outside of Tampa and what you mentioned a little bit in the NFC West, I think a lot of them and the spotlights are going to be in the AFC right now.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like.
By the way, I'm putting this out for free. This is going to be a free episode for everybody.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, I want everyone to get a taste about what's going on with Misery Loves Football.
By the way, my mom heard my podcast I did with John Jameis, and she's like, you didn't have to say the F word so much. Like, I really don't like hearing my child use I'm like, Mom, I'm in my 30s right now.
And you're married.
I'm married. I've been doing stand-up comedy for several years, and you've seen me on stage drop F-bombs. Yeah, but I don't like hearing my son use bad language like that. Okay, Mom, I'll pray the rosary tonight. Does that sound better to you?
Yeah, that's why that's one of the advantages of having dead parents. You can say whatever you want.
Oh boy, we're going there.
By the way, Kevin was saying Mike. They were like, oh, is it Mike from the Cleveland Browns? And I realized who he was thinking of. It was Mike Junkin, and Mike Junkin was I believe a linebacker out of Duke that the Browns picked in the 80s. because, you know, when you look for guys in the draft and you want to go for a great football school like Duke, and they pick him 5th overall in 1987, where, of course, the Steelers get Rod Woodson, who ends up playing himself into the Hall of Fame. Mike Junkin played 20 career games in the pros.
So that's who he was thinking of, you think?
Yeah, I think he was thinking of Mike Junkin. They called him the Mad Dog in the meat market.
Mike Junklin and Mike Jaglin. They got a podcast coming.
That's right.
God. Junkin and Jaglin.
I like
Junkin with Jaglin.
I think we're going to do something. We're going to put something together, some sort of prize, make it fun this year. So I'm going to reach out to you guys.
We should, we should do like, we should have our own fantasy. Do you have your own fantasy league with this podcast?
No, I did it with Punch Drunk when I was on there before I got kicked off because of Patton Oswalt tweet. Long story. Anyways.
Why don't we do that?
That was fun. And I was actually kicking some ass in that league. It was fun.
How many people can we get together? Can we at least do a 10
Oh yeah,
team?
we get Brennan, we get Jaglin, Mazur, me, Ken, Lenny's printer, just some of the regulars that are on the podcast. Probably Joe Bartnick.
Ski Mask.
I'd love to get Bartnick on.
Yeah, Bartnick would be down. He likes that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And we'll go throw one to fucking what's his name, Jim Stansel, just because so he doesn't cry.
I would say let's do a suicide pool each week too.
How's that? How do you do that?
You pick a team each week, and
literally one of us commits suicide each week. I think that's the way to do it. Shout out Brody Stevens.
Jesus Christ, man.
He's my friend. You would have laughed.
No, Tony knows what a suicide pool is. Basically, you choose one team a week to win. And if your team loses, you're out for the season.
Well, that sounds like fun.
So
we'll be done by week 3.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone picks like the same team, and then half the league is gone in 1 week because that team loses. It's really fun.
I do want to do I would like to do a cash prize and have one of the Patreons jump in too.
Well, we should figure out. I want to do the fantasy league. I'm not signed up in a fantasy league, so why don't we do our own fantasy league?
Do you do fantasy league, Tony?
Last year was the first time I did in several, maybe 2 decades. Like when I still had an Adelphia email address, and I finally did it last year. I got my ass kicked a number of times, but a lot of it, in fairness, was because player tested positive. We're not playing this week, and everything kind of got screwed up. So I'm going to put a big old Jose Canseco asterisk next to last year.
Yeah, I'm afraid to do a fantasy league because what Florentine might say. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. If we played that suicide pool that Kevin Brennan's only going to pick teams based on who has the most vaccinations. I don't know what happened to Kevin with this. Like he's getting really I'm like, what? He's watching one news source. He has to be watching it.
And he was fighting with Dave Smith and the Legion of Skanks the other day. I mean, that's a tough audience to mess with. It's one thing if you go after Chrissy Mayer, but it's another if you're going after Dave Smith.
Yeah, I can't back up all the beefs. I can't. I go with Chrissy Mayer. I'm good, but I'm not down with Dave Smith. I don't get that beef. I don't understand. Well, guys, we're up against it, as Tony likes to say in his business. We're about to give away some tickets to Mark's Great American Rib Burn Off. Those are done now, right, Tony?
Yeah, those are done. Yeah. Poor Barry Gable. That was his baby.
Who doesn't eat meat, which is funny.
That's right. Yeah.
He does a rib burn off and he doesn't eat meat.
I know, it's fucking weird.
Isn't that what? Didn't Dave Thomas, not from SCTV, but Dave Thomas, the Wendy's guy, wasn't he a vegetarian too?
Was he?
Burgers in the commercials, and he didn't eat meat.
I didn't know
that could be a wives' tale. By the way, so I know you're going to put this out later. So tonight, we had the Hall of Fame game last night, and then tonight is the gold jacket ceremony. So they're doing they're fitting the gold jackets.
Who's getting inducted?
So let me pull up the list again, because what they're doing is the 2020 and 2021 inductions. And so 2020, because they couldn't do last year, includes Troy Polamalu, Isaac Bruce, Edrin James, Bill Cowher, Jimmy Johnson,
Aaron Hernandez,
Alex Karras.
Oh,
I'm not kidding. Alex Karras
from Webster.
Yes.
Is he going to be there?
He'll be there in spirit, Chad.
Oh, is he dead?
Oh yeah, he died. He had dementia or something. He was just as bad as Joe Biden, I guess. And
is Webster still alive?
Webster's still alive. Gary
Coleman's dead. I get okay.
So and then so what they're doing is they did the game last night. Then tonight is gold jacket ceremony. Then tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be the 2020 induction, and then 2021 is on Sunday. So I'm not going to be there tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be there on Sunday because I think us in the media pen, because they're, social distancing, I think we're going to be watching from a monitor outside the stadium. I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to watch at home if I really want to watch it so bad. Yeah. So the 2021 inductees are Peyton Manning, Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson, John Lynch, Alan Faneca, Drew Pearson, and Tom Flores will be going in there as well.
All right.
Wow. Which I like that. Obviously, there's more name recognition in that class with Calvin Johnson and Charles Woodson and obviously Peyton Manning. Tom Brady is flying up. I'm not sure. I think on a personal jet going up in being in attendance for Peyton Manning's induction on Sunday.
That's class.
Yeah.
That's class. Paying homage to one of the greats,
Is there any way you'd be able to get on that jet?
I live 3 miles from the airport. I can go see what I can do.
Yeah, just head on the jet, and then maybe Pete will give you a guest set at the Funny Stop. I think Mike Conley is going to be there this weekend.
Oh, wow.
He just got a giant extension, too.
Not Mike Conley.
Mike Conley, the basketball player, got a giant extension.
No, we're talking Mike Conley, the hack.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, what do you got to plug? What do you guys got to plug before you sign out, Mike? We'll go start with you since you're on the West Coast.
I've got to plug my sanity.
Okay, you got 2 twins.
2 twins. That's it. I got family coming in from Chicago today. I'm working over at Jukin Media right now, doing some viral video stuff.
Are you still on Jay Leno's show, or are you done with that?
No. I'm over.
You on bad terms with Jay Leno?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Is he a piece of shit?
No, he's fine. Jesus Christ.
I heard hack joke coming up here. I heard Jay Leno is starting his own dating app. It's called Chinder.
Oh boy. Boy.
Like that, Chad?
I like it.
You're putting Jaglin in a bad position. He's out there. He's a mover and a shaker.
No, I'm putting myself in a bad position because
I'm a mover. I don't know how much shaking I'm doing.
People who subscribe to my Patreon are already unsubscribing after they heard that joke.
Go sign up to Tony's Patreon. It's Check Your Brain. Sign up to mine. Sign up to Misery Loves Football because this is what pays me to do Misery Loves Company. So if you want me on Misery Loves Company, you'll sign up for this. And this was all Kevin's idea. So thank you so much. Please sign up. We'll talk to you next week. The football season is underway. That's a wrap. Rack 'em.